The green glow of the relic pulsed steadily in Quill's hand, casting eerie patterns across the cockpit. The hyperspace channel, once a streaking blue tunnel, now shimmered with the same ominous green hue. Lyra, gripping the controls tightly, turned to Quill, her leku twitching in frustration. "What's going on, Quill?" she demanded. "What have you got me into now?" Quill leaned back in his chair, twirling the relic like it was a lucky charm. "Nothing to worry about. I'm sure the ominous green glow of hyperspace and this relic are completely unrelated. Total coincidence." Lyra shot him a look that could pierce Beskar. "You know what you are, don't you, Quill?" "Charming? Irresistible?" Quill offered with a grin. "Full of poodoo," Lyra snapped. "Now come on, don't be like that," Quill said, tucking the relic into his jacket. "You know I always work things out in the end." Before Lyra could retort, the ship jolted violently, throwing Quill forward into the dashboard. The hyperspace tunnel dissolved around them, replaced by the vast blackness of normal space. Alarms blared, and every screen in the cockpit blinked with error messages. "Great. Now you've broken my beautiful ship," Lyra yelled, furiously flipping switches. Quill glanced at the nearest screen, casually wiping a smear of blood from his lip. "Relax. Spectre's whisper can take it." "Can't she?" Lyra's fingers danced over the controls, her face pale. "She can, if I can stabilize the systems before we end up floating debris." After a tense few moments and some colorful language, the alarm silenced. The lights returned to normal and the ship's engines hummed softly. Quill exhaled, leaning back in his seat. "See? Told you we'd fix it." But Lyra wasn't listening. She stared at the nav screen, her expression frozen. "Where are we then?" Quill asked, raising an eyebrow. Lyra swallowed hard. "It's not a case of where we are, Quill. It's when we are." Quill leaned forward, the usual smirk wiped from his face. "What do you mean?" Lyra pointed to the screen. "The ship's systems are saying we're 300 years in the past." "What?" Quill's voice cracked. Lyra spun to face him, her eyes blazing. "What did you take from the Emperor, Quill? You're always messing with things you shouldn't. Now we're stuck in some distant past." Quill blinked. Then a wide grin spread across his face. He patted the relic in his jacket like it was an old friend. "We have a time stone. This is massive. Do you know how much this thing is worth?" Lyra's jaw dropped. "What's a time stone? And who exactly do you plan on selling it to 300 years in the past?" Quill shrugged, unfazed. "I've got some of the answers, just not all of them. You know me, always playing the long game." Lyra groaned, slumping into her chair. "We're doomed." "Don't be so dramatic," Quill said, rising and stretching. "Think of the possibilities. We're in the golden age of the Old Republic. Jedi, ancient treasures, and credits to be made everywhere. Trust me, we're going to be fine." "Trust you?" Lyra glared at him. "That's what got us into this mess." "Fair point," Quill admitted. "But come on, Lyra. Imagine the stories we'll have after this. The time I, Quill Xanther, outsmarted the Emperor's vault and time itself." Lyra shook her head, muttering, "I need a new co-pilot." "Don't be like that," Quill said, already heading toward the ship's lounge. "I'll make us both rich. Or, at the very least, alive." The relic in his jacket gave another faint green pulse, as though mocking his confidence. Somewhere out there, in a galaxy still young and thriving, adventure awaited, and Quill Xanther was just reckless enough to dive headfirst into it.